Hello, fellow griever, and welcome to this daily nugget of Stoicism for January 1st of 2025. What is the fruit of these teachings? Only the most beautiful and proper harvest of the truly educated, tranquility, fearlessness, and freedom. We should not trust the masses who only say that free can be educated, but rather the lovers of wisdom who say that only the educated are free. Epictetus. And I started with that one because I think it's a really good introduction. And today's episode is going to be just a smidge longer than what you can expect for the remainder of January in this series of daily nuggets of Stoicism. And if you have not listened to the Down the Rabbit Hole, Season 1, Episode 1, you should do that just to get an idea of what's coming and why I'm doing this series. But this is going to be a little daily nugget. It's probably going to be 5 minutes a day. It could be a little less. It could be a second or two more, but it's going to be extremely brief. I'm going to be sharing something that I've wanted to do for a while, and I'm only going to do it for January, albeit I could do it for the entire year because the book that I'm following for this has a page for every single day of the year. And it's not a 2025 specific book. It's a book that I've actually worked through before, but it's a book called the Daily Stoic, 366 Meditations on Wisdom, Perseverance, and the Art of Living. And the author is Ryan Holiday with his co-author Stephen Hanselman. And Ryan Holiday is kind of a modern Stoic, if you will. But what is Stoicism, you may be wondering, and why in the world, Melissa, are you going to do this? Well, the short answer is I've wanted to do it for several years. I wanted to share some meaningful information on Stoicism because it has been so relevant in my grief and loss journey, and relevant as in it's helped me so much. And I talked about this a little bit in the rabbit hole episode, and I want to try to keep this succinct so that you understand why I'm doing this and not go down a rabbit hole with this particular episode. But I do want you to understand what's going to be ahead for the next 30 days of why I'm doing these. So Stoicism at its heart, and this is capital S Stoicism, ancient Greek philosophy, not the definition, the Webster definition of Stoicism that just has us being like a staunch person. That's not this. So I feel like I've been a Stoic my adult life and probably well before that, because as long as I can remember, I've been a lot like my father in that what is. I'm more science-minded by nature. I'm more analytical. And I've always kind of said, it is what it is. I even have joked that I might get that tattooed on myself someday. My dad used to say, c'est la vie, which is a French term that means it's life. It basically means the same thing. But I've always said it is what it is. Now, in listening to me, it is what it is really hard pill to swallow when it is involving your child no longer being here. So that was an uphill battle for me the first couple of years after losing Alex. But when I learned that what I was doing was really leaning into the principles of Stoicism, and I was able to take what I used to call being a realist or being a matter-of-fact person and put the word Stoicism on it, it really changed my life. It changed the way I looked at things. Ryan Holiday's teachings on ancient Stoicism came into play probably around year 3 or 4 after loss, and I wish that I had known about them sooner because it has transformed how I grieve and look at things that are, especially things that are out of my control. So really quickly here, what I want to do is read the benefits of adopting a Stoic mindset, which is an article that I found in Forbes that kind of helps briefly, because I didn't want to get into some big long article, but this helps briefly understand Stoicism. Stoicism, or a Stoic philosophy, is the ancient Greek philosophy that can offer numerous benefits in both work and life, providing individuals with tools to navigate challenges, enhance resilience, and achieve personal and professional growth. Stoicism encourages people to focus on what they can control and accept what they cannot, leading to emotional resilience and inner strength. This mindset helps individuals manage stress, setbacks, and uncertainties effectively. By practicing Stoic principles, individuals gain clarity of thought, peace of mind, and freedom from burdensome worries and anxieties. This daily clarity allows for better decision-making and a more balanced approach to life's challenges. Stoicism emphasizes virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, guiding individuals to align their actions with these values. This focus on ethical principles can lead to a more purposeful and meaningful life. It helps people develop discipline, self-control, and the ability to manage impulses and emotions effectively. This self-mastery is beneficial in work settings where composure and rational decision-making are essential. The Stoic framework teaches individuals to detach themselves from external events and focus on their internal responses, reducing stress levels and promoting well-being. By prioritizing what is within their control and letting go of what is not, individuals can channel their energy into productive actions rather than being consumed by distractions or unneeded worries. This focus on productivity can enhance work performance and efficiency. And side note by Melissa, this can also enhance grief work. So then this article, which is almost finished, goes on to highlight these 5 different ways that how Stoic philosophy can help us manage stress and anxiety, which I don't know about you, but I'm not sure there's a griever among us that doesn't manage both of those things on a daily, if not momentary basis. So the article goes on to say, by incorporating these Stoic principles into daily life, you can develop a mindset that promotes mindfulness, acceptance of reality, gratitude for the present moment, and a deeper connection to your surroundings. It tells you to focus on what you can control. Focus on what's within your control and let go of what is not. By directing your attention to actionable steps and decisions, you can reduce stress caused by worrying about external factors of which we have no control. It helps us accept reality and embrace the concept of amor fati, which translates to love of fate. Stoicism encourages individuals to accept the present circumstances and events as they are, fostering a sense of peace and resilience in the face of adversity. Side note by Melissa, I know this is a tough pill to swallow. I simply ask that you follow along and understand a bigger picture. Regulate your emotions is the third thing. Stoics believe that individuals have the power to control their responses to external situations. By acknowledging this internal focus of control, you can manage your emotional reactions effectively. The third principle is practicing self-reflection. Engaging in self-reflection allows us to understand our emotions, fears, and reactions better. By examining their perceptions and seeking feedback from trusted sources, individuals can gain clarity and reduce anxiety levels. It helps us practice mindfulness and live in the present moment. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of living in the present moment and being mindful of current experiences rather than dwelling on past regrets or future uncertainties. It also helps us, finally, the fifth thing they say is develop resilience. Stoic principles encourage you to overcome adversity, practice self-control, and realize the transient nature of life. By cultivating resilience and patience, you can navigate challenging situations with greater ease. So, it also, I guess there was a sixth one here that I didn't see initially, but practicing gratitude, which is a huge part of it. Expressing gratitude for the blessings in your life can shift focus away from stressors and anxieties, promoting a positive outlook and emotional well-being. And really, there's only a few negatives of the Stoic mindset, and they talk about them briefly here at the end of this article. They say while there are numerous benefits of adopting a Stoic mindset, it's important to acknowledge potential drawbacks as well as strive to strike a balance. And again, side note by Melissa, balance, balance, balance is the key to everything in life, and no time does it feel more important to me than when we're in the throes of deep grief. So I just want to emphasize the balance part. The article goes on to say overemphasis on Stoicism may lead to emotional suppression or detachment from one's feelings, potentially hindering authentic emotional expression or interpersonal relationships. So like everything, going too far with something can be too much. And I don't. Stoicism is a part of my daily life, but it's a focused and balanced part of my daily life. It finishes by saying excessive focus on maintaining emotional equanimity could result in apathy or indifference towards important issues or causes that require emotional or mental engagement. So we don't want to go too far one way or we become detached. Stoicism emphasis on rationality and self-control may limit the depth of emotional connections with others, impacting empathy and understanding in personal or professional relationships. So yes, there are people that take Stoicism too far and become very stoic in nature. It does not affect me that way. I'm a very empathetic person to my core. Losing my son Alex has taken that empathetic dial and dialed it kind of all the way to high. And so strangely enough, this is like a counterbalance to that piece for me. And it helps keep me grounded and rooted. And so especially for those of you that feel like you are empaths by nature, consider listening through the month of January and just seeing how this impacts you. I'm in no way telling people this is the only way to think or that you need to think this way. I'm simply providing an option of another way to look at resilience and mindfulness and growth as we consider this new year in a way that we could go through it. So I am going to start by reading January 1. I will put up a podcast episode every single day in January with a reading from this book without all this extra rhetoric that you got today. And I hope that you gain something from it. I also hope you listen to the weekly Down the Rabbit Hole episodes I'm going to be putting out, and that you're anticipating February's new lineup of regular episodes and the new podcast that's coming out as well. So here we go into the Daily Stoic January. This is at least my third time through this book. I'm glad to have picked it up and we'll be working through it again this year. There is a companion journal for those of you that get into it. I will be putting the link to the book in the comments so that if you find this being something that resonates with you, you know where to get it. And that's all. So for now, let's get started and read January 1st. The January chapter of this book is called Clarity, which is really good to start a year with. January 1st, Control and Choice. The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control, and which have to do with the choices I actually control. Where do I look for good and evil? Not to uncontrollable externals, but within myself, to the choices that are my own. Epictetus, Discourses 2.5 to 4 through 5. The single most important practice in Stoic philosophy is differentiating between what we can change and what we can't, what we have influence over and what we do not. A flight is delayed because of weather. No amount of yelling at an airline representative will end a storm. No amount of wishing will make you taller or shorter or born in a different country. No matter how hard you try, you can't make someone like you. And on top of that, time spent hurling yourself at these immovable objects is time not spent on things we can change. The recovery community practices something called the Serenity Prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Addicts cannot change the abuse suffered in childhood. They cannot undo the choices they have made or the hurt they have caused, but they can change the future through the power that they have in the present moment. As Epictetus said, they can control the choices they make right now. The same is true for us today. If we can focus on making clear what parts of our day are within our control and what parts are not, we will not only be happier, we will have a distinct advantage over other people who fail to realize they are fighting an unwinnable battle. That was January 1st. I look forward to the rest of the month. Talk soon.